And for health and beauty, we are going to talk about seasonal supplements. How to supplement your diet this season as we enter into the cold and flu season. You might be wondering, okay, is there anything I could do to sort of help get through the next few
the kids
months?
too, because you know it's that school season as well. I'm getting into this time of the year.
Yeah,
We all pass it on to each other.
yes, and there's not enough sunshine or outdoor activity. Well, maybe a little bit, but not as much. So with us, again, welcome Dr. Maria Papasodaro. Thank you so much for coming back and talking to us. I know this is one topic that we wanted to talk about. Coming into the season, we need to take a look at what is out there to help us.
Yeah, so, when it comes down to cold and flu, there are three little key things I kind of just want to go over first. That's very, very important. So the first thing is to find out what's causing that particular cold or flu, right? So we're looking at particular stresses, we're looking at microbes, we're looking at digestive function. So, when you're out with your kids and you're at a playground and the kids are eating, maybe they're getting contamination that way. But the other thing that's very important is looking at stress components, because stress releases cortisol, and cortisol then depresses the depresses the immune function, and then people develop these cold or flus. So that's very, very important to distinguish right from the get-go. And just finding out, what happened before you had the cold or flu. Was it a stressful time in your life? Was there a death in the family? Something like that, because that will often trigger. Because whenever you do have some kind of immune depression, it's often the body trying to tell you to slow down. So you need to pay attention to those signals from the body, because those are our body's innate things that come out to really teach us. And then the last thing that's also very important is that it's very important to get a cold or flu. Okay, so you don't want to, people come in and say, oh, I haven't had anything for the last 5 years. That's actually quite dangerous. You actually want your body to be responding to various things in the environment.
Wow, that is great information to know. Thank you.
So these are some of the supplements that we can.
Exactly. Yeah, so we have different categories. So we have kind of like a direct effect where you're looking at prevention and you're looking at acute. So this is something like vitamin C that you can be taking, anytime from now till about February, March. And then you can kind of dose up, as you need to. And something like, zinc is another great vitamin as well, because it also helps to improve immune function. And then there are categories of herbs that you can go to. So something like Deep Immune that you see there, that will have something like astragalus, cotinopsis. These are great herbs to enhance our immune function in preventing, various conditions of colds or flus. Okay. So those are all quite important. And then the last one there, the oxylococcinum is called, but this can also be taken as kind of a flu shot preventative, like just as you would take the flu shot. So you'd actually take one every 2 weeks or so from now to about February, March, and that also helps to prevent like the flu. If someone doesn't want to get the flu shot, they have an option.
It's an option.
Yeah, those are homeopathics that are good for that.
Those are some great preventative options.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the acute kind of category. So if something does come about and you kind of want to, fight it more naturally, then you do have that option as well. So right at the onset of any cold or flu, that's when you want to tackle it. So something like echinacea is great for that. You can take it right when you're kind of, I feel like I'm getting something, and you start taking it right away. And it helps for that, you just kind of maybe will have it for a 24 or 48-hour period, which is what you want, and it will help to kind of get you through those. And those are just some other things. So like if you have a throat soreness, you can do kind of the, stop cold spray, where you even just spray it right into your mouth. And then the other ones are homeopathic too, that you can dose more regularly as soon as the symptoms start within that 24-hour period.
And these are all natural products.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah, they're all herbs, things like that. But again, you still want to, make sure that you get it checked by a naturopathic doctor or someone who knows, so that you can dose appropriately for you and your family members.
Right.
But yeah, these are all natural products, so you want to make sure of that. And then other things like, I was talking about stress and digestive function, you want to make sure that those are good. So these are more of an indirect treatment to help with immune function. So things like fish oils, that's what that one is to get a good DHA amount into the body, so to help with the digestive function. And then of course the good probiotics and something like Adrocet, which is more of an adrenal formula. So our adrenals sit right above our kidneys. That's what spews out cortisol. It's the first gland to respond to stress. So an adrenal support, kind of from now till about February, March, will also help the prevention of a cold or flu.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, very good to know.
Yeah. So those are the different categories, and then of course you have the kids formulations. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So when it comes to kids formulations, it's more or less the same, because in the pharmaceutical side, there's not too many options, and now they're kind of banning, cough syrups and things like that. So as a homeopathic, it's completely safe for kids, and you can even dose them a little bit more regularly when they do have that onset of a cold or flu, and it also helps with that as well. So those are just two different company, names, or two different company products that do more or less the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
This
so
is fantastic. So this is from 0 to 11 years old, symptoms of cold and flu. So these work just as well as.
they can. They have almost about an 89% effectiveness when we look at even prevention, but also treatment. So when the disease actually does come to the forefront, then you can also, dose it a little bit more frequently, and then you can treat it that way.
There's also deep immune and cough.
Exactly. So the deep immune that we saw for the adult formulation, they also have for the kids formulation. So it's more gentle. There's not going to be the side effects. It's not, not too harsh. And then of course that other one is more of a cough syrupy one that you can do. That's a homeopathic formulation.
Well, that's fantastic. I did not know that all these things existed for especially
Yes.
children. Having children myself, and a lot of times, you just pump them up with
Exactly.
the Advils of the world and the Panels of the world, and
It's already a little too late if they're in the
Yeah, see, that's the importance of the fever. You want them to spike that fever. Like, okay, if it's getting crazy, 100, 400, 500, like it's getting up there, obviously you want to do something about it. But when it's just in that borderline, you really want them to experience that, because that's what builds the immune system. And that's what's important, because when something harsher comes down the line later on in life, their body knows what to do. Their body's able to fight it.
Yeah, no, and that is so important. I noticed that even over the past couple of years, like I have 4 children, so I know I've seen all sorts of colds and flus come through our house, and sometimes it's just that fever, and there's no other symptoms.
Exactly.
I do sort of wait out, obviously, until they're uncomfortable, and then just sort of keep a cold cloth, keep the liquids going.
Exactly.
And,
But those are very important. That's a good response. And like you were saying with cold cloth, there are a few hydrotherapy type techniques that you can also incorporate. So one just quickly would be something like, a contrast shower that you can do. So with a contrast shower, you can take your hot rinse and then a cold rinse right at the end. So that helps to build the immune system as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then something like dry skin brushing that you can brush all over your body prior to going into the shower actually helps to circulate lymph. So it actually helps to build the immune system.
Wow.
Yeah.
oh my, I was wondering what that was when I was reading that board about the hydrotherapy techniques.
Exactly. Yeah.
So before getting into a shower, you should.
A dry brush, just like with the loofah one, the
Yes.
harder one. So you do that dry before you go into the shower, and it helps to bring all the toxins to the surface. So then when you do jump into the shower, they get flushed away. And the other thing is it helps to improve circulation, and it helps to circulate lymph, which is part of our immune system.
Okay, and the contrast showers, what is that?
Yeah, so the contrast shower is a hot shower like you normally do, but at the end you're doing just a very quick cold rinse for no longer than a minute. And you always want to end with cold, and that's the key with hydrotherapies. You always want to end with cold, because that helps to stimulate the body. It gets things moving, and it actually keeps you warmer throughout the day. Like we have this misconception when we end hot, it keeps us warm through the day. It actually doesn't. It's actually the opposite.
And once you get out of the shower.
Exactly.
Hot shower, and I have hot shower.
Yeah.
That's when you really feel it.
Yeah, and then the last one that I had mentioned, there is something called warming socks, which is very actually cool to do. Some people don't like it, but a lot of people do. But you put on a cotton pair of socks that you wring in cold water. So you wring it out really, really good. At nighttime, before you go to bed, you put them on. So you put them on damp. And then you put on a dry wool pair of socks on top of that. And then you go to sleep. And in the morning, your feet are toasty, toasty hot. And that helps to bring down all the congestion that's up in your head, headaches, congestion, the nose, sinusitis. It helps to flush it all down.
Oh my God, I wish we had more time to do it. Always whenever we get Maria, time flies by. Thank you, Maria,
No
so
problem.
much.
No
Really
problem.
Great information.
No problem.
Yes, and for more, you can always email Maria. Her information board is coming up. And